Hey guys, today I'll walk on one of my favorite sites. You just must visit this place if you are in Moscow. There is an incredibly quiet and calm atmosphere here, despite the fact this place isn't fenced off the road anyhow. In the summer there are a lot of beautiful views from different angles on this place, but in winter it could be interesting too. So today we'll go to the Novodevichy Convent. Novodevichy Convent consists of three large parts: the monastery itself, the park near it, and the Novodevichy Cemetery. I'll show you the Novodevichy Convent from the inside, a nearby park with ponds, and probably will not shoot at the cemetery. The monastery outside is really beautiful, but it is constantly being restored. During the restoration of the bell tower in 2015, there was a fire. It was quickly extinguished, but because of this the restoration was delayed. I don't remember the time when I saw a monastery without various building structures. There are too many buildings here. They are very close to each other, so there isn't enough free space. I decided not to talk about everything, cause I don't think it would be interesting. Instead, I'll tell you the story of the monastery. In 1449, an agreement was concluded between the Russian and Lithuanian states, according to which Moscow forever refused Smolensk. But the Prince Vasily III started the Russian-Lithuanian War and tried to annex Smolensk again. After two unsuccessful attempts, he promised to build a monastery if he succeeded in conquering the city. After the third battle, the city was conquered, and 10 years later, in 1524, the prince built a monastery. The full name of the monastery is the Novodevichy Mother of God Smolensky. It's dedicated to the Smolensk icon of the Mother of God, which according to legend came to Russia in the middle of 11th century when the Byzantine Emperor Constantine Monarch blessed her daughter, who became the wife of the Russian prince on her journey. The icon became a symbol of the dynastic proximity of Constantinople in Russia. This icon was in the state of Lithuania, and after the conquest of Smolensk it was presented to Moscow. There is no consensus on why the monastery was named that way. According to the most popular version, the new monastery was named in relation to the more ancient monasteries. At one time it was the richest and most privileged monastery in Russia. Noble women who came to him sacrificed jewelry when she tonched, pearls, gold and silver. At other times the monastery served as a prison for women who could claim the throne. Various rulers sent relatives here to protect the throne. After some time, a shelter for planted girls was made in the monastery. During the war of 1812 against the French army, the monastery miraculously escaped death. According to legend, the nuns at the last moment managed to extinguish the wicks that led to the powder kegs lit by the retreating army of Napoleon, and put out the fire that had begun in the monastery. In 1922, the monastery was closed and the Museum of Emancipation of a Woman was built here, later transformed into a historical household and art museum. The museum collection includes ancient Russian paintings, icons, products from precious metals and stones, and much more. Now the monastery is functioning again, and there are 30 nuns here. A few words about the Novodevichy Cemetery. It is divided into Old, on the territory of the monastery itself, and New, which is located behind this wall. A new one appeared at the end of the 19th century and expanded in Soviet times. This is the most honorable cemetery after burials near the Kremlin wall. Chekhov, Gogol, Khrushchev, Boris Yeltsin and many others are buried here. In winter, slides from that lead to the pond, and children often ride sleds here. The funnels come down just like that. In childhood, after such a descent, I was hit hard by the tailbone. It offers a beautiful view of the monastery. In summer, people often sit near a pond and chat or read. In the summer, artists also practice here. Some of them sell their previous works to tourists. And now we come to the sculpture of ducks and ducklings. The sculpture was presented to Moscow by the wife of Bush, the former US president. The composition is dedicated to the American fairy tale. The sculpture completely repeats the object, which is located in the Central Park of Boston. It consists of bronze. Mother duck needs 1 ton. Many people like to take photographs by saddling a mother with a duck, while children can saddle on ducklings. Ducklings were stolen many times. Bronze is quite expensive metal, so there were always those who wanted to take part of the composition for themselves. The first time the duckling was stolen the day after the opening of the sculpture. In addition, the park has 2 cool grounds and 2 beautiful flower beds.
So that's all I want to say. Write topics that could be interesting for you, and see you later.